Hi guys, Dave here for Southern Land Solo. Thanks for tuning in. I'm just out doing a day walk today in my local area, and I thought I'd try out my Blackbird Multi Bag, using it as a millbank bag, which is one of the features of it. Just on a day walk, not too far from home, so not carrying a whole lot of gear. Actually using the multi bag as a haversack today. Let's see if I can undo my famous knot here. It's not looking good. Oh no, there we go. Just as shamag as just my shoulder strap. And here's the multi bag. So just carrying in it a couple of things for the millbank test. A couple of plastic cups. Some snacks for the trip. And nice thing about the multi bag, it'll take an entire 1 litre container at least. There's still a lot of room in there. That's your Nalgene military style container with a stainless steel cup on it as well. So that means this multi bag will also easily carry the USGI canteen and cup. So quite a bit of space in there. What I'm also carrying is what my multi bag is replacing. This is a Maxpedition roly-poly. I think this one's the mini. You can see the size difference between the two. That's the mini in your multi bag. So this, replacing this with the multi bag, because the multi bag has just got a lot more features to it. This is pretty much a carry bag. That's pretty much what it does, or a drop pouch. It's got a drain hole there. This can't be utilized as a millbank bag, and it's a very good piece of equipment, very hard wearing, but I think it's just been, for me, it's been superseded by the multi bag. So what the multi bag also does, as not just for using it as a mini haversack, and it's not just for collecting tinder as you go, or wild edibles as you go and putting them in there. An interesting feature about that is this is unwaxed cotton canvas, and this has got a bit of wax on it, this cotton canvas here, which is the flap that secures it. But the main part of the multi bag is unwaxed cotton canvas. That means it can absorb water, and the water can evaporate off. So if you put in damp tinder or kindling or whatever, and there's a bit of moisture on it, this will help it dry. But so it's not just for those things, it's also for filtering water. This is a genuine millbank bag. This is New Zealand Army issue. It's probably Australian or British origin, I guess, and shaped like a stocking, and it's designed to hang on an angle like that. You fill it with water all the way to the top. You let the water drain to that line. By that time, the water has washed all the gunk in that off the outside, and it just drips down in that little peak down there and fills your containers. So the multi bag operates in a very similar way. Got two plastic cups here, just so we can see the before and after shots, and just get into it. So here's the water we're going to be filtering. So there's two things need to be done to make water safe for consumption. One is to filter it, which is where this comes in, and then you purify it or sterilize it either by boiling tablets or some of the filters that can take out the little bacteria and viruses that you can find in the water. But the multi bag, used as a millbank bag, is for filtering it. Filtering it is just taking out the big leaves, the sediment, the dead insect bits and the dead fish bits that you find in water, and that's all it does. It takes it out. It doesn't make it safe for consumption as to the point of sterilizing or purifying the water. All it does is filter it. So the advantage of that, particularly when you're using the man-made filters, you know, the straws or the ceramic filters, stuff like that, is filtering it first with a multi-bag takes out all the gunk so it doesn't clog your filter up, and so your filter lasts a lot longer. But this water down here is pretty clear, so I'll stir it up a little bit just to make it a good test. Hopefully you can see that. Nature's coffee. That's a nice little espresso colored cup of gunk there. And what this water here has is, let's get rid of this guy. This water here, on top of the mud that's at the base of this creek, is mostly just dead foliage, leaves, decayed vegetation, all that kind of stuff. Stuff you don't want to be putting into your gastrointestinal system, hence filtering it to take it all out. We'll use this one for after, once we see how well the multi-bag is cleaned. So the principles operate the same as the multi bag. Something else in there. Principles operate the same as a millbank bag. We need to get this fabric saturated so that it swells up and filters better. And do that, we just put it in the same water that we're going to be filtering. Normally I wouldn't be stirring it up like this, but it's good for the test because it's just going to show more the contrast of how well this multi-bag works. So I'm just going to leave it in there just for a little while, let it soak, let the fabric become saturated, let the fibers swell up so it'll be better for filtering. While we're waiting, the importance of water and a bit on the survival mentality that I've been learning about from people like Cold Cracker and from Blackie, from Dave Canterbury, stuff like that. There was a story I relate. A fella many moons ago was out with a small group in the Amazon, and they went to check out a well-known Inca village or Inca city that had been overgrown by jungle. And he separated from the group and eventually lost his way. He could no longer tell if he was in the city that was overgrown by jungle or if he was in the jungle itself, because over all those centuries the vegetation had just grown over everything. Eventually he was lost, and he was lost out there for 3 weeks. In that entire time, even though it's rainforest, even though it's jungle, in that entire time he was there, it never rained. And so he was going past puddles and little pools of stagnant water, probably full of bacteria and animals that you think will come down and drink out of it, rodents. It's stuff you don't want to drink yourself without the correct filtering, without the correct purification. But after so many days, I forget how long he was actually out there before he made the decision. He figured it's probably not going to rain, and if he doesn't drink, he will die. And he looked at the water he had available, and he decided that he was either definitely going to die or he was going to drink that water, and it may make him sick and he may die. But he had no choice. So the survival mentality, he said he had to drink the water, he had to do what he had to do. And so he drank that water. My guess is you could just skim the surface very lightly, because you don't want to stir the water up. Skim the surface lightly, get that sediment off it as much as you can, and fabricate a straw if you can, maybe a hollow reed or a hollow stick, and get below the surface, just below the surface but not into the sediment, and just slowly drink and carefully drink. I'm not sure how he did it, but otherwise you just have to get your lips down there, clear the sediment off the top and get your lips just under the surface and just slowly drink what you can. And that's how he survived. So he did live, because he related his story to us. And it's interesting how he got rescued. He stumbled out on a beach full of tourists. So he was wandering around in the jungle for 3 weeks. He was pretty much on death's bed, and he was surviving just on drinking stagnant water from pools and puddles. And then he survived by stumbling onto a beach full of tourists. So quite an interesting story, but it showed you what it takes to survive, and the mentality of switching out of that comfortable city mode that we have and switching into this is survival mode. I need to get onto things. And the way to get onto it before we even go out with preparation and carrying stuff, carrying the right items. So let's look at this. I've been waffling for long enough. Let's see what we got. Yeah, it's plenty saturated there. Just going to give it a bit of a wash here on the outside. Okay, stir it up. Getting everything. And let's put her in. Cool, she's full. Yeah, I've got a spot up there set up. Let's go take it and hang it up. There we go. Another nice feature of the multi-bag. Just get this guy here off. Another nice feature is it can snap over while it's full of water. So it gives you that feature using it as a mini haversack if you want, but also for giving you a lot more strength when it's got all the weight of that water in there. My little hanging rope. Good. And let's see. That's my milbank bag, and let's hang her up. Cool. As you can see, let me just see that's in the camera. Yep. As you can see, she flows out pretty quickly. So you could stick a canteen cup under there and catch most of that. We'll just put it on a tilt and let it come out through its through the corner. What I did is, before I came up here, I had to reset the camera, so I stirred everything up again and then put another load of water inside this multi-bag. So I didn't clean it out. It's got twice the sediment in it that it did before. So that's why it's coming out slower, but as you can see, it's a good test because look how clear it is. And that's through all that sediment. Cool, that'll do. Let the rest drain there. There's our two amounts. Let's see, let's stir this up. This is how this one looked. Pre-multi-bag, post-multi-bag. You can see the difference. What's in there is not as bad as what's in there, so this is doing a pretty good job. Bring it a bit closer, see if she stays in focus. Don't know if it will, but that's your two amounts. So as you can see, the usefulness of letting it settle. You can see how clear that's getting already when most of the gunk settles to the bottom. But what that started as was that. And this, there's nothing to stir up. That's pretty clean. Pretty good. Again, no good for drinking. Not yet anyway. I've drunk from here before, I've drunk from this creek before, and I just boiled the water and she was fine. A lot of kawakawa in this area. This is what you're seeing here if you're interested. All the kawakawa. So good medicinal plant for poultices, for sore throats, for toothache. You just chew on it and swallow the juice. Spit the rest out. Also makes a nice tea. You get 2 or 3 leaves, put in a cup of tea. Put in a cup of boiling water, make a nice tea out of it. A few different things. It's a flavoring for food. It's because it's got a peppery taste. Cool. Well, let's take a look at one thing. Let's see what's left inside of there. This hanger, if you're interested, it's just cordage. And it's just about 1 meter long. What's that, about 3 feet long? I just bent it in half and then did 1, 2, 3, 4 knots. So now I've got 4 positions I can hang it from. That's what was in there. Yeah. Fair amount of gunk and crap down there. So what I'll do, I'll go down to the creek, give it a wash in the clearer water, then take it home, give it a wash in clean water. I'm not going to use detergent or anything on like that because I think it might affect the wax, and it doesn't really need it. Just needs to be cleaned and then left to dry properly. Oh yeah, one tip as well, when you get your brand new multi-bag, if you decide to get one, just give it a wash in fresh clean water as well, just to get rid of any loose threads or any loose cotton that might be on it just from the manufacturing process. I gave it a clean, a little bit came out, so just makes it better all around. Cool. Well, that's the multi-bag. Oh, let's not finish now. Quick review. I was going to do a review, might as well do it here. So that's it, fully open as you've seen. This will hold the 32-ounce Nalgene stainless steel water bottle with a cup as well. And as you've seen, it already takes the 1 liter or 1 quart US Army canteen with a cup, and plus room to spare. And so, good size, and it folds up. Folds up nice and small. You just fold the two sides in, roll it up on itself like that, and over she comes, and snaps closed. And it's got a carry loop, thick cotton belt sort of material at the back. You just put your belt through there. Pretty handy device. Yeah, I think that covers everything. Sort of wax cotton on the top as the sleeve, and it snaps closed, and then just unwaxed straight heavy duty cotton canvas for the bag itself. Cool. Really good item. Really recommend getting one. It's a Blackie Thomas multi-bag. Thanks guys. See you on the next video.